Hello and welcome to my review of the Fender G-Dec 3. Let's have a listen to some sounds and then we'll talk about it later. So there's the first 50 patches. It goes on to another 50 that you can edit and change any way you like. So going back to number 1 here, all you do to edit it is simply press your amp button to adjust your amp settings, FX button to adjust your FX, that includes modulations, delays, reverbs, so forth. You have a band button here as well, which will change band backings, and I'll talk about that in just a moment because that is a really impressive feature. And then you can have a phrase as well, which is just a little loop. It has MIDI sounds on board, so what you can actually do is plug in an SD card and play MIDI files that are stored on it. So if you've written your own compositions, plug it in, no problem at all, you can go ahead and play that. MP3 Wave will play MP3 files, so you can sit it there on a shelf and use it as an MP3 player. So let's talk about the backing tracks that this fantastic amp can do. For every patch you've got a band that can actually be activated simply by pressing start and stop. Let's have a listen to it on this one. And that's complete with intros. It'll play a song all the way through for you to jam along to and go as long as you like. So let's try that. So I'm out of tune and I got the chords wrong, but that's okay. The point is, you can play along with these excellent band sounds. This is the band level control here. Once again, I didn't play particularly well. But anyway, you get the idea. Let's move on to the next one. So once again, a really good backing track and an excellent chance to practice your soloing. Nobody wants to hear that. So there you go, imagine all the fun that you could have with that. This is a really excellent feature about this amplifier, the backing tracks and the ability to learn and play, change keys that you want to play in, practice your scales. This is an amp that can really help guitarists improve. You can also record your own loops and you can even attach a pedal. Okay, here's the pedal that you can use with the G-Dec. Just zooming in on the right here, you'll see it has several different modes, 1, 2 and 3. Mode 1 will give you the top line, which is 3 favorite presets that you can immediately access just by hitting the button. Mode 2, you can go down or up and then select, which means if you're on patch number 1, say, and you want to activate patch number 23, then you can shoot up to it by pressing this one and then select it when you get there, rather than hearing each individual patch along the way. And in mode 3 is your looper, so you can play, record, and overdub. It really is beautifully simple, like everything else on the G-Dec. So just walking around now to take a bit of a closer look at the general controls. Guitar tone there, nice quick equalizer setting. Okay, you've got your stop button there, quick access here. By default it's set to go through a whole list of artists who have contributed to the making of this amplifier, I suppose. I hope you can see that because the display is rather bright, but this list goes on and on and on of a whole bunch of bands that you can play along with, and there are several tracks per band. A really excellent guitar tuner here. Let's just play a note on the guitar. Okay, so we're reasonably close to a B there, but that is very visible and very quick, easy way to get your guitar tuned. And you can also tap tempo using the same button as well. Start, record, and overdub, that's for your looping section there. Over here we've got the edit keys, just like I said before, corresponds with what's on the screen. Save button there, exit to get out of menus. This knob, vastly improved from the previous models of G-Dec. It's absolutely flawless, it feels solid, it works absolutely perfectly. Nice quick easy mixer here, there's your band level, and there's the overall level. So it's very easy to get yourself balanced with the band extremely quickly. Okay, on the back, on, off, and power. Over here we have foot switch and auxiliary in for your MP3 player, and there's also a socket there for a second guitar as well. For the final part of this video, I just want to take you through a little bit of the editing. Other parameters you can go through, I'm working backwards here, but there's our cabinet style, full stack in this case. Several levels of compression, equalizer settings, bass, middle, and treble, amp volume, and then there's gain, and then it loops back to the first screen again. Press exit to get out. This time we'll go through effects. We've got some overdrive happening there. Fixed wah, which works amazingly well on this amp. Do try that one if you get to have a go on the G-Dec 3, because you can get some really interesting distortions out of that. Touch wah, fuzz, and then there's a list of effects to choose from there. Right back to no stomp box at all. Modulation section, you've got a choice of sine chorus, tri-chorus, sine flanger, vibratone. Vintage tremolo is really good. It's kind of like a doubled up tremolo. Sine tremolo, which can actually act as a kind of a slicer as well. Alienator, which is a ring modulator. Resolver, which is a really bizarre delay effect. There's a classic ring modulator as well. Step filter, phaser, pitch shift, and back to no modulation. So there's heaps to choose from there. Delay is just as interesting. There's echo filters, multi-tap echo, which kind of stutters your echoing. It's quite interesting. Ping pong for stereo effect. Ducking, reverse, tape echo, stereo tape echo, no delay at all. And there's mono echo. The filtered echo is really, really good. It makes every echo sound that comes back at you different from the one before. It's really quite weird. And here's where we edit our individual parameters. And if you go right through all those parameters, it will continue on to the reverb section. So I've got no reverb selected, and you've just got a good set of reverbs to choose from, right from things like the 63 Fender Spring, through to large rooms, halls, plate. Okay, so exiting right out of that. Okay, looking at our quick access here, we've got a whole heap of loops to choose from. Hatebreed loop, Hatebreed loop 2, Inevitable, Jazz Drag, John 5 Impalement. There's a massive list here of things to choose from. I believe you can add more from the Fender website too, through the very handy, where is it? Handy little USB socket right there. Headphone socket there, by the way, and as I mentioned before, your SD card. So that gives you an idea of the kind of things that you're going to see on the screen of the Fender G-Dec 3 as you're using it. It's an amp that you can really explore, you can really develop your talents, and there's absolutely no reason why you can't use it in practice as well, because it is really loud for its size. And the quality of the sound, I mean, you might as well have a little valve amp set up with a few pedals. The quality is at that sort of level. As a really good all-round amp, this is about the best I've ever seen. There really is something for everybody here. Fender G-Dec 3.